Good morning. We are here starting a 15-foot pondless waterfall in Elicott City, Maryland. We have a nice shaded garden going in on this one, which is going to look really nice. We get some plants coming in at the end, some big Pennsylvania boulders. You're not going to want to miss this build.
Hey, it's Mike from Oasis Water Gardens. From backyard ponds to breathtaking waterfalls, I'll show you the art of bringing natural beauty right to your home.
All right, here's our general area. We're going to be installing our aqua block basin right in here, and then the waterfall is going to go up about 15 feet here. We're actually looking to capture a couple views. We have the view off this deck that we're really trying to get a nice waterfall around that basin area. Then we have another view right here through the windows in the house. The homeowner is going to trim back some of these branches and prune this tree so that they actually are going to get a nice view of a waterfall right here. This is about where the waterfall is going to start, and then it's going to meander on down back to our basin area there. Here you can see we're up on the porch. We're going to really try to get a nice waterfall view in here. That's going to look really cool. This is going to fit the space really well because it's already such a wooded area that this natural stream is going to really fit the vibe of this space. Future plans for this space is a dining room table for dinners, and so we're looking to create a really nice view right here so that there's a nice waterfall drop there, and then it'll kind of meander its way up here. All right, we got our basin marked out with the aqua blocks right now, so we're going to check the vantage point from this deck, and then we're going to go out and spray it out with the paint, and we can start digging. And it's looking pretty good from here. All right, we got our basin marked out with our paint now. We're going to go ahead and start digging that. All right, now we're bringing our excavator in. We're going to start digging the basin for this thing. You can see this tree on the left side of the frame. All of the branches were growing over our basin area and making it difficult to dig. So we tied those off to get them out of the way as much as possible. And this was a little bit slower than a usual dig would be because we had to be very careful to make sure that we weren't damaging this tree too much while we were doing the excavation. Here we have the 6 aqua blocks right here, and then we got the pump vault right here. We dug the pump vault in about 7 inches below these aqua blocks. The pump will have access to all the water in the system. We always want the pump at the lowest point. That also will create an easier time cleaning out the system. All the dirty water will go into this pump vault. We can drop our clean out pump in there and get a nice clean on the whole system. One other key point is that we recessed these blocks down about 5 to 6 inches into the ground. If we brought these blocks up too high, then our boulder work is going to start to look a little bit unnatural. Getting those boulders to look like they're sunken and into the landscape is essential to pulling off that naturalistic look. If we can start to see some bottoms of rocks and things start to look stacked, then it's going to really start to look man-made. So you can see here we're getting our underlayment and our liner in, and this is just prepping the base for this thing so that we can actually start building the waterfall. All right, we got our liner in now. So we have a layer of underlayment, then we have our EPDM liner, and then we have another layer of underlayment. Pump vault's going to go in here. We're going to get those aqua blocks set up now. All right, Matthew, why don't you run us through what we did here?
We put our aqua blocks in. We backfilled around them with 5 to 8 Riverstone rocks. These ones. Between those rocks, we dumped buckets of 3/4 Riverstone to lock it all in and keep it nice and strong and tight and in this shape.
And as Matthew said, it's all feeling nice now. We can walk on these blocks. They're all nice and sturdy, and we're ready to set some of our large boulders on here for that first waterfall drop. All right, now we get to the fun part here. We get to start strapping up some of these large boulders and start to frame out this waterfall. Now, one thing that we're doing after we set each one of these is we're actually going back up to the deck and checking the vantage point from there and making sure that we're just getting the perfect angles for all the key viewpoints that we're looking to capture. You may also notice that we're taking our time and readjusting some of these boulders an inch here or an inch there. It's all these little details that's going to really make the difference when the waterfall is finished. So right here we actually have the first couple of drops set, and we've pulled our liner forward and we're digging out the area for that long stream. We are back on a rainy Wednesday morning. We delayed our start time a little bit. The rain is supposed to clear up soon, so hopefully that will be the case.
So I think we're going to want to come a little bit above this though.
How are we looking as far as the slope? Because I want to make sure it's sloped. Like, no, come back here, because, like, I see what you're saying. It could come up more on the left, but the way the rock already goes to the right,
Yeah, kind of.
to get the rock level, it would be up on the left, but it would just slope it more to the right.
Yeah, maybe let's just take a small shim.
Yeah.
On the left side there.
Sure.
But actually, otherwise, position-wise, I think that looks really nice.
Front to
especially
back.
relative to this guy. Front to back looks fine.
Okay.
These are some pretty typical conversations that you'll hear us having while we're building a waterfall. We're always thinking about how the water is going to flow over our boulders, how the framers looked, how each rock is balanced with the previous rock, and then ultimately how it's going to look once we get all the landscaping and all of that in. So we really want to make sure we take plenty of time to get each one of these little details perfect for this waterfall.
Left to right, we're looking good. We got some slope in here. I think what we need to do is take this front edge down a little bit because it's lifted a little too much. This back side up a little bit, maybe this front side down. That way we can get that drop coming in and get some water running off this way. Less so, but even that's not that much for the flow that's going to be coming. We do want a slight pitch so that it's going to not want to come all over here. I think that's probably good.
So for this top waterfall area, we ended up putting one of our largest boulders on the right side as our framer. And then on the left side, we were going to layer a few smaller boulders to get up to that similar height. This was going to allow us to create a few different directions in that waterfall so that the view from inside the home had a lot of interest. We tend to prefer different directions and interest over really tall waterfall drops.
All right, everything is shaping up nicely right now. We got most of the rock work finished in the waterfall, and now we're going around and doing some of the detail work. And one of these things is what we like to call a wash, which is actually taking some of our Delaware 5 to 8 Riverstones and working those in between some of our bigger boulders.
Base of pea gravel, and then I just work them in and then work the pea gravel around them. So for like, I put one here, get it to the height I want, and then just push the pea gravel to get it to sit where I want, and then go around it.
Great, and you can see Matthew's done that around here in quite a few spots, and this just creates a really nice effect, especially once these get washed off and they get all their nice colors showing. And this is a nice way to break up all that boulder work along the edge of the waterfall.
Now on this particular one, I actually knew that we were going to be taking some of our ferns and we were going to actually plant them in this wash area. We created this nice wash with the stones, and then long-term plan was to get those ferns starting in the actual water and to work their way up through that area to really give that naturalistic feel to this spot. You can see right now we're doing some edging. This just means folding that liner up nicely along the whole side of that waterfall and then bringing in some riverstone and dirt to hide the entire thing.
We're starting to foam and seal up this waterfall right now. So when we have a longer area that we need to foam, a lot of times we're actually going to do what's called a bib liner.
So for this one, we used some of our geotextile. I cut that to the shape of the stream area between these boulders. And then you can see we're taking some of that foam and going underneath that. And then we're going to push that geotextile into the foam. This is going to adhere really well and really act as if it was a liner and keep all that water going over our waterfalls and not behind it.
You can see this is the one we did yesterday. This is the bib. This is hardened off nicely. And so that's going to hold water nicely. We're going to add a layer of riverstone on top of this to hide all this stuff. So I need to now go through and do the same thing with this long stream here. And then we'll have to do all the foaming for the top section as well.
This bib and foaming work gets to be very tedious when you have a longer waterfall. It probably took about 3 to 4 hours for me to get all of this stuff done, all of these bibs cut, get all of that foam in, pressed into where we needed it, had it dry off, and then from there you actually have to go back in and make sure you foam up any holes that you may have originally missed. I actually ended up, while I was doing this, taking some of those 5 to 8 riverstones and created a little dam in the middle of that stream. That's going to really add some naturalism to the flow of this water as it goes down.
So we've taken our 3/4 gravel and built it up so that the top of our boulder is going to sit right in the same level as these other ones here, so that it looks like it flows with the rest of the boulders. All right, we are back for the last day on this one. Water is running. We will show you guys that very soon. We got our plants here that are all going to be going in. We're finishing up some final grading, touching up a few details. We got a lot of our plants. We got a lot of different kinds of ferns, some Japanese painted ferns, some tassel ferns, some autumn ferns. We got some astilbe here, which is flowering right now, which looks great. We got some chocolate chip ajuga. We got some pieris, some elderberry. These are the big shrubs that are going to go towards the top of the waterfall. And then we got some more ferns here and some more lumium.